Welcome back to the show, everybody. Good to see you. Hope you had a good week. This is the Green Line Breakdown, your informatics show about the Boston Celtics, your 2024 NBA champion, Boston Celtics. Last week, we were on pace for a historic record-breaking season, but we had a tough week coming up, a couple of challenges on our way, and today is November 3rd, Sunday. Hopefully we'll post this by tomorrow. And I think we had a good week. I saw the team had some ups and some downs and maybe some lowlights and some form tackles and bad coaching. Just a lot of stuff all around. But I'm glad you're joining me for the third week in a row. And I hope I give you a good show today. I've got some things I think are important that are on the docket that I'm going to give to you, and you can form your own opinions on how this team is doing. I hope you've been watching the games. I said that message last week, but I just want to repeat it because you guys are missing out on a fun-filled season. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? I'll give you the weekly rundown here. Last week's episode posted it on Monday, and that night we played the Milwaukee Bucks. And you know what? I feel like that was probably our first game. We had Detroit the week previous, but Milwaukee was kind of our first real headhunting type of game where we were going to have some issues. They were going to play us tough. They've played us a lot in the past 2 years. They've been one of our big rivals. So they come prepared. Giannis comes ready to play. Dame comes ready to play. Brook Lopez. Chris Middleton's out for them right now. And all I can say is the Bucks are not off to a great start. They were 1-3 coming into that game. Giannis had a good game. The ball ran through him. They kept it close right up until the fourth quarter. Tatum had a good game. Brown had a good game, but they weren't the difference maker. You know who the difference maker was for this Boston Celtics team? Oregon native Payton Pritchard. Number 11, 6'1" point guard. Payton Pritchard. I know last week we talked about how Jason Tatum was in for an MVP season. He was playing like it. I can confidently say after this week, he, kept up the bar, put on some good games. We might have another award winner on the team. Porzingis has been out, so the ball movement gets a little sticky. But let me tell you something. When number 11 gets off the bench, you see things really start to roll for the team. He's a real lunch pail guy, real grinder. He gets things moving for this team. He had an incredible game against Milwaukee. Every time the ball went into his hands, you felt like this is an easy shot for him. He's wide open. Doesn't need a lot of space to make something happen. And by golly, gee, you know what? That ball goes in that hoop. I don't even think it hit the rim half the time. I think it just dropped right in. He's got a pretty shot. Very pretty. And Payton Pritchard's always been kind of a good player for us. He, got drafted in 2019. About 2 years in, he actually asked for a trade because he came from an Oregon team that was really good. By far, definitely got the most points for the team. And when he came to us, we were a kind of set team. He wasn't making the starting lineup. He had JT, JB at that time. Al Horford was on the team. Kemba was on the team. Marcus Smart was on the team. So he kind of had a full suite of guys. And he was still rookie, so he wasn't getting a ton of playing time. And he had some frustration because he felt like he could be, a right off the bench kind of guy, sixth man type of guy, a fringe starter. Oh, he could be the starting point guard for some teams right now. Anyway, my point being is Pritchard is having sixth man of the year type of year. He is consistently making 3-point shots at a higher tick than the rest of the team that shoots a high tick of 3-point shots. When, you're really 50% type guy every night, that makes a whole lot of a difference. Let me read you some of the stats of that game because he played phenomenally well. He was automatic. So this was against the Bucks, 28 minutes, 28 points, 10 for 14 field goals, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. And about 70% of those were 3-point shots. He's coming off the bench of this team and playing like he could be a starter for the bottom 10 teams of the NBA. The depth on this team is incredible. Sam Hauser, Luke Cornett, and now, all over last week, you saw Neemias Queta come to the fringe of what he could be. And we're going to get into that a little bit later. He was more involved in the Pacer game, so I'll still, talk about him then. But, Pritchard really put on a show. And I just wanted to give him his flowers. And that cracker can play. He can play basketball. He's my size. And to see what he does on an NBA court gives me hope. I can never make the NBA, but it just instills, pride. I can't always relate to the guys in the NBA that are 6'9" and 250 pounds and 7'5" wingspan. Like, that's not me. Payton Pritchard, he talked about it a little in the post-game conference. He said he feels like the type of fanfare he gets is because of the way he looks, because of he's just a 6'1", regular-sized dude you would see walking around anywhere. And he thinks people can relate to him, and I definitely do. I see him on the court, and it makes me happy. Anyway, he definitely got us over the hump on the Milwaukee game. The defense was a little sloppy. This was the first instance on the year where I felt like we were slow out the gate. It was a slow game. It was fun to watch. We got really scrappy towards the second half, but we need to get a little fire, earlier in these games. It was slow. We were kind of letting Giannis do whatever, move around. And even more so in the Pacers game, which was on Wednesday. To finish up the Milwaukee game, we for sure, as a team, came out slow at the gate, which down the stretch, we were tied. And then because of Pritchard, opened up in the fourth quarter, and we got the win. Indiana Pacers. I don't think any player in particular played bad. Tatum had an okay game. Brown had an okay game. Now, the stats point to somewhere else. Tatum had 37 points, and in the end, those stats are going to do good for him. His shooting wasn't completely there. We were down more than 20 points come around the third quarter. We were slow out the gate again, and the Pacers, who are probably the fastest offensive team in the league, with Haliburton holding that ball, Mathurin was having a ridiculous type of night. Random role player steps up and just puts up 30 on us. He's not going to do that every night. So you can't disparage that because all he has to do is show up against us. It doesn't matter what they're playing like all season. We're concerned about how they show up against the Celtics because we're the number one team in the league. Players are going to show up against us just because of the competition level. And maybe they want to put on a show. And you can't let them do that. And all credit to Mathurin because I don't hear his name called much, and he was putting on a show for us. And the Pacers are a damn fast team, damn fast. I mean, I don't think we're slow at all, but watching them against us made us look like mud, and it was incredible to watch. By the time the third quarter rolled around, we're down by 20 points. And a lot of people on X and just people from the media were chiming in on that and saying, well, it looked like they didn't really show up tonight. This is going to be their first loss. And I was thinking the same thing. It just looked gross on TV to watch. It wasn't fun. I'm sure a lot of you thought the same thing. And that's what was going to come to fray. And around the 6-minute mark in the fourth quarter, we cut it down a little bit, not much. It was still about 15-ish points. I could be getting that number wrong. I didn't put it in front of me here. And Missoula kind of waves the white flag and throws Kata in for some minutes towards the end of this game. Takes Tatum out, takes Derek White out, puts in Pritchard, I think. A couple of the backups. And then all of a sudden, Neemias Queta is grabbing every single rebound on both sides of the court. In my week one predictions of the season, I talked about how Porzingis wasn't going to play till December, and you had Luke Cornett stepping up, and hopefully Xavier Tillman steps up to kind of fill in that role for the time being. And I know Queta was on the team, and I don't think I mentioned Queta. Admittedly, I do have a friend who's much more of a Queta-centric guy. He has been since last year. Shout out Alec. He's always asking for Queta minutes. I like Queta. Some of his work last year was sloppy, but watching this game against the Pacers, it's like he has taken a huge step in his game, unquestionably. Because of his rebounding and because of his second chance plays and his putbacks, all of a sudden we're 10 points away. And then 6 points away. And the time's ticking down. And Missoula looks up and thinks, oh my God, we have a chance to tie this game. Now, Queta's part of this. Credit to the Boston Celtics as a whole, who can wave the white flag, and just because they're so goddamn talented, will cut the lead. Now, credit to the Pacers too, who can have a 20-point lead with the offensive output they have and then still lose that. Tyrese Halliburton, bum. He had 2 points by the half, almost nothing, 3 fouls. You are franchise, and that's the type of work you're putting up against the Celtics. That is shameful, letting Mathurin take over for it. Pascal Siakam, he had a great game, was making great shots. And starters go back in. And all of a sudden, with 20 seconds to go, you're down by 3 with the ball. Now, in years past, this is the moment where the Celtics will play hot potato, or if Marcus Smart was there, he would throw that thing into the stands, pretending he's a clutch shot, or, just somebody absolutely staking it up by the last 10 seconds. Have not seen many clutch shots with 20 seconds to go on the clock. We've had a lot of defensive stops, but that's about it. And here's Jason Tatum 34 points up until this point, 20 seconds left on the clock. One of the things Tatum does that I don't like is he'll take the ball, get to the 3-point line, and then he'll play around with his opponent. I don't think it's like a bragging type of movement, but he tries to set up his shot a little better. And this is the biggest piece of growth I've seen from Tatum from last year to this year. He drove that ball up, got to the 3-point line before the rest of the team had caught up with him, and just let it fly. Didn't dribble around, didn't look for somebody else to then make a play. He just got to where he needed to be, took the shot, and hit that day. And God damn it, it was wet. And from down 25 in the third quarter to a tied game with 10 seconds left, when you wave the white flag, you were playing around like you would give it up. And you still caught up, just boasting the talent you have. It was incredible to watch. And there's still some time on the clock, and Tyrese Halliburton doing nothing all game, missed the shot. And all of a sudden, we're in overtime. And from the third quarter, I had felt pretty down. But at that point, I said, you know what? It's a loss. I know we'd talked about breaking the record last week, but these things are going to happen. I'm not going to lose it over this. I'm going to take the loss and move on to the next game, no problem. But now you're in overtime. Now you did all the work to tie it up. And I felt overjoyed. And I felt like maybe a lot of other people watching this game, there's no way we can lose now. And then you get into overtime. And you know what? Not to say they played a bad overtime. You missed a couple of shots, made a couple of bad reads, and then you're tied with 20 seconds left, 30 seconds left. Pieces out the ball. Pascal Siakam, top of the paint, shoots that thing, and goddamn it was wet. And now the Pacers are up by 3, and you have one final shot. And you bring it up the court. You've got 3 guys who I think can take a clutch shot. Derek White, Payton Pritchard, and Jason Tatum. Those are your 3 guys. I think if any of them are taking that shot at the end of the game and they miss, I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm confident that they can make that shot, and if it doesn't go in, it's not meant to be. So please, to my audience, to the world watching, can anyone explain to me why Jaylen Brown is taking the final shot from the 3-point line? Jaylen Brown, I love you, Finals MVP. You're my guy. What the fuck were you thinking? Come on, man. You didn't even hit rim. I could have hit rim. Wide open shot. Jaylen Brown, please, do not take any more of those shots. You do enough. You don't have to prove more to me. You are not that guy in that scenario. Please pass the ball to Jason Tatum, Payton Pritchard. And they talked afterwards how that is a drawn-up play. So I don't know if I can Brown completely, but, if that's on Missoula, change up the fucking play. Never put that out there again. Now, watching this game, I had a thought in my head. When you love something or someone, you make a commitment. You make a commitment to what they stand for, what they are, and you hope they make that same type of commitment back to you. They might not always show up for you. You might not always show up, but I think all you can ask for in the end is if they tried their best, make you happy. Because there's a hope that the next day they're going to try again. Not going to stop. And I think that's a good message for this team, right? Because they were down the dirt third quarter. And they didn't give up. And they churned, broke away, and they tied it up. And they had you convinced that, oh, they're going to really send it home. Make me a happy man. They're going to make the world a happy place. They just crush your heart. They just make you sick to your stomach when that final buzzer sounds. There goes one in the loss column. And you're pissed and you're angry that they would let you down. But you know what they do? They go home, they end the night. And by the next morning, they lace their shoes back up and they go back to it. They don't stop because of one loss. They don't stop. They keep on turning because they'd have to play for something. And they know you're committed to them. They want to give you that same commitment back. Don't be afraid to commit. Accept the risks, because in the end, I think we're all happier for. Don't be afraid to take the journey. Did that Pacers game suck? Did it crush you? Sure. Crush me. But you know what? They had another game on Friday. And the Celtics said, lace them back up. We're going. Go, and they went. For sure they went. Not a fantastic team. They got some good players. Brandon Miller. LaMelo Ball. They've got some good players. LaMelo Ball. Brandon Miller. Grant, of which we will talk about. They came to play, and I think it was a back-to-back, Friday and Saturday. I think both games were fought well, hard, and I think it was a good rebound from this game. I don't want to go too much into it, because what I want to talk about is the final minute. Grant Williams came in and bulldozed my King, MVP, Jason Tatum. That wasn't clear. He tried to do a Draymond Green impersonation that nobody asked for, but decided to oblige us with anyway. And he took out Tatum, and all credit to Tatum. He didn't even acknowledge it, got right back up, went to the foul line. And they ejected Grant Williams. And I got this as a mailbag question, but I'm going to talk about it now because I think it's relevant to the game. Do I think it was that bad of a hit? Joe Mazzulla last weekend was talking about how he thinks fighting should be back. And he should be allowed to, tussle a little more, and I agree. And I think in the end, it was an egregious play. I think Grant Williams got properly ejected. But, there's a bit of an overreaction to it, like he was trying to kill him. I thought they were friends. There was a lot of cute relationship edits made from it, as Tatum and Grant were good friends, but they seemingly have split. Jaylen Brown mentioned it in the press conference afterwards, saying, and I quote, "I thought him and JT were friends. I guess not. Great. You've been through tough times. You signed with Dallas within half a year. Luka got sick of you, so they sent you to Charlotte. You were a good player for us, but you were always kind of a suck bag. And what you did was a suck bag move. I'm not going to say anything outside of that. I think you can clean it up. Stop being a dick. And, I think we'll be good from here on out. Obviously, we played back-to-backs. We won them both by around 10 points. I think, again, going with the track record of kind of slow starts, I think this whole week was a lot of slow starts. I don't know if that's the opponents are better than we thought. The offense just doesn't click right away. We're not meeting our opponent, whatever it may be. That is worrisome because honestly, outside of the Pacers, Milwaukee's not looking good. Charlotte, not supposed to be that good of a team. And we played back-to-backs, but still, we'll get ahead. My hope in the next week is that we pick up the energy because we went 3-1 from the week, but they were all pretty much down to the wire, tough games. And they can't be like that. We got to have some speed in these games because some of these teams are not good, and we shouldn't be playing down to them. Well, that's kind of like the weekly roundup. And I didn't go into as much as the teams as I normally do, but there were 4. It was a busy week. They were all kind of the same type of play, slow start on defense. The offense wasn't clicking right away. Wire to wire till the end, and either, we took the loss in overtime or the other 3 games, we spaced out towards the fourth quarter. So at the very least, we're finishing strong. What's on the menu this week? What are we going to get to watch as fans? What are some things we can look forward to? Where are we going to be tested? And I got to say, it's a very intriguing week. Tonight, Monday, Atlanta Hawks, 10:45. Trae Young always comes to play. They lost to DeJounte Murray and have that first-round pick. French guy whose last name I'm not even going to try to attempt. They're nothing crazy, but they're always fun to watch. Trae Young's always fun to watch, but I think we're going to take care of them handily. I'm going to skip ahead here and look towards Friday against the Brooklyn Nets. Probably the worst team in the league. They just kind of had to blow the team up. And I like Cam Thomas. He's a great player. He's fun to watch, but they don't have anything. And hopefully that's an easy win for us. And we play against Milwaukee again next Sunday. Look for Milwaukee to come out a lot stronger this time around. It's hard. Playing back-to-back's hard because you play one game and you kind of see what they're going to throw at you, and immediately you can retry it. But when you're, space these teams a week out, so we played Milwaukee last Monday, and then now we're playing them about 2 weeks after. So that would be a dogfight, and Milwaukee's going to show up. But the most intriguing game this week, and I implore all of you to watch, is against the Golden State Warriors on Wednesday. Now, if you remember from my first episode and my second episode, you would know that the reason Jason Tatum on the MVP type season he is on is because of the flight that the coach of the Warriors gave Jason Tatum in the Olympics this past summer. And if you don't think that Jason Tatum is going to come out and send a message to Steve Kerr and go band for band with Steph Curry and the rest of the Warriors and put his nuts in Draymond's face, I don't know what we're watching. Certainly not the same team. My man's going to come ready. He's going to come to play. And that for damn sure is a game that is a must-watch, national headline TV game. So that's what's on the menu this week. I asked you guys for mailbag questions again. I got some good ones. The one that I talked about a little earlier was my thought on the Grant Williams tackle. And like I said, I think he's a dumbass, but not say he was trying to kill Tatum and it was just him being stupid because he is evidently a bag of rocks. I did like this question. Should the team have gone up to dinner with Grant after he tackled JT? Grant Williams did talk about after the game how he hadn't seen the Celtics players in a while, and he invited them all to a dinner at his house where he made buffalo wings, and he had a whole spread apparently. I can't believe he said that, first of all. Can't believe he admitted to that, because, again, he is a dumbass. But, dude, if you knew they were planning on coming to your house after this game, because it was back-to-back, they were staying in Charlotte, why would you even attempt to play Tatum like that? The game was not that close to be making a move like that. Man, just play regular defense. Stupid. I can't say this enough. He really is a dumbass. Should the team have gone? That's his punishment, is getting shunned. Crazy. Crazy even attempted that. What was JB thinking on the last shot of the Pacers game? Now, Jaylen Brown is a smart man. What I think he was thinking was, damn, I hope this doesn't end up like my free throws where I miss 50% of them. And it wasn't, because motherfucker didn't even hit the rim, and at least he hits the rim in his free throws. Jaylen Brown. Never take a final shot, ever. Do what you gotta do. Bust ass, run through people, dunk, please. Dear God, give the ball to Tatum, Derek White, and Pritchard. Joe Mazzulla, never call that play again. You're a great coach. That was horrific to watch. Disgusting. Who is your favorite player of all time? Who's my favorite Celtics player? My first jersey I ever bought was Aaron Baines, number 46. He kind of played Tillman's spot for, God, he was on the team for 2 or 3 years, not that long. Very small stint, but that's when I really started getting involved with the team as much as I do now. He was always fun to watch. He was a huge fundamental guy. And he just really was just a hard hitter in the paint. And he was my first favorite player for sure. I went out, bought his jersey on Fanatics. It was $30 because nobody was buying an Aaron Baines jersey. I'm shocked they were selling it, but it still hangs up in my room today. In terms of like all-time greats, I never watched them. But I mean, you go back and watch Larry Bird highlights. It's hard not to love Larry Bird, just the way he played the game and the attitude he kind of carried himself with. I love Larry Bird. He's got the accolades. Now Bird was a 3-time MVP, which that's going to be hard to replicate. And he won 3 championships. You know, a couple of my others, IT, obviously a great player to watch. Al Horford's fun. Love Al. Love his personality. Love the way he thinks about the game. Really, any of those big power forwards, greasy rebounders, really get in the face of guys. Like, I like that style of play. So anybody that fits that mold down the Celtics line, I usually enjoy watching. Tillman's kind of like that, not as much. He could be there. But I hope that was a reasonable enough answer. I definitely went all yapping on that part, but I know that probably didn't answer the question asked aptly, but I know I was yapped a little bit towards the end, but that you know, that's the answer I'm going to give you for now. That's all I got for you guys this week. Hopefully you watched. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Hopefully you watch the games. If nothing else this week, please watch that Golden State game. It's going to be cinema style. type of play. Hope you guys have fun. Things are cold, things are dark, but I'll be here every Monday to warm it up for you. Thanks again.